Do you ever feel like there's never enough time in the day? Between a full-time job and everything else, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and drained of your time and energy, leaving nothing for the things that truly matter. But what if I told you there's a way to unlock hidden hours in your day, even with a demanding 9 to 5, so you can finally make room for the life you desire? In this video, I'm sharing 4 powerful hacks to help you reclaim your time so you can finally have time for the things you care about and achieve more than you ever thought possible. Hi, and welcome to Plan It Already, where we help turn big ideas into actionable steps and wins. Let's dive in. Now here's the truth. Life doesn't give us extra hours. We all have the same 24 hours, but how we use them is what makes the difference. Meet Dave. Dave is a 32-year-old software developer working for a top tech company. He gets up at 5:30 a.m. every morning so he can hit the road for work by 7:30 a.m. and arrive at the office by 9 a.m. His day would usually consist of intense coding work, meetings, coffee breaks, and probably some discussions with colleagues. Now, around 5 p.m., he's out the door, commuting the other way to get back home about 7 p.m. He gets home, grabs some dinner, spends some time with his wife and 4-year-old son, catches up on some news and social media until he's dozing off on the couch around 10:30 p.m. At this point, his body is screaming for sleep, so he goes to bed. 7 hours later, his alarm goes off. It's 5:30 a.m. and the cycle repeats. Now, Dave looks forward to the weekend all week, and when the weekend finally hits, he spends it getting a little extra sleep, doing some household chores, watching a little extra TV, and spending some time with family and friends like he should. Dave loves art and is really good at painting. He often dreams of owning an art gallery someday, but with his current routine, he knows it's probably a pipe dream. And now, the reality is, most of us are Dave. And although time is gold, we often innocently squander it, thinking we're stuck and can never have time to do the things we truly love. But you need to understand that time is your personal gold, and you can either squander it and its value slips away, or harness it and you unleash its boundless power. Now, let me show you how to find your time gold, dig it out, and invest it where it truly counts. Starting with hack 1, find your gold. First, you need to figure out where your time is actually going. Most of us have no idea how much time we waste. And we often misjudge how we spend our time without realizing that time moves faster than we think. The only way we can truly find where the gold is to conduct something I call a time audit, by writing down how you currently spend your 24 hours. I know it sounds super official and maybe a little geeky, like something a productivity nerd would say, but trust me, this exercise is very crucial. It just has to be done, or there's no breaking free. So, like Dave, this would mean writing down that he spends 3.5 hours commuting, 2.5 hours relaxing, 7 hours sleeping, and so on. Ensure you can account for your full 24 hours, even if it means writing down that you spend 30 minutes scrolling through social media. This way you'll see where you're currently wasting time, and this will guide you to where your gold is hidden. Now, when I did my own time audit, I found I was losing over 5 hours a day on cooking and doing the dishes. Now that's a 35-hour week already. Basically another full work week wasted. I mean, at this rate, I might as well add head chef to my resume, right? In most cases, the gold is actually there. You just need to dig it out. And for that, we're moving on to hack 2. Dig for gold. Now that you have an idea of where you're wasting time, it's time to create efficiencies or even cut out certain activities entirely, wherever you can. Did you know that the average person spends over 3 hours daily on their phone, with 2 hours on social media? Now, that is a lot of unproductive gold. So, to dig out your time gold nuggets, you need to do one thing: eliminate the time wasters. For example, let's assume Dave is done playing with his kid at 8 p.m. Does he really need to be on the couch watching TV for 2.5 hours? A method I personally use to eliminate time wasters is by asking myself these questions. Is this activity valuable? If not, can I spend less time on it or eliminate it? Now, spoiler, scrolling through social media for 2 hours doesn't count as valuable. Another question I ask myself is, for essentials like cooking or bathing, how can I optimize them to free up more time? I mean, after all, we're not auditioning for a cooking show or a shampoo commercial. And finally, can I multitask effectively, like reading during a commute? James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, calls this habit cues, where one activity triggers another, making it easier to integrate into your routine. So you need to ask yourself these questions for each daily activity you've written down, and now allocate the new time for each activity based on the time savings you've identified. For example, Dave can now allocate 1 hour for relaxing and watching TV after work instead of 2.5 hours. I cut my cooking and dishwashing time from 5 to 2 hours a day, and sometimes even 0, by using a weekly meal planner and batch cooking on weekends for quick meals during the week. At the end of this exercise, add up the time you've allocated to all your activities. Now, subtract that from 24. What's left? That is your daily goal. And you want to harness that. Okay, now that you've dug and found your gold, the first question is, where do you invest it? Which is hack 3. Now, do you have personal projects you've been putting off, big goals you've been dreaming of, or that one thing you just keep wishing you had the time for? That is where you want to invest your gold, and this will be different for everyone. And if you still cannot identify where to invest your gold, just stick around to the end of the video. I have something for you. For example, if Dave dug out a total of 3 hours, he can now dedicate 3 hours a day on his love for art and eventually take steps towards owning his art gallery. But Dave might then ask, okay, fine, when is the best time within my daily routine to use these 3 golden hours? When exactly do you invest the gold? And the simple answer is this: you want to invest it in those hours when your energy and focus are at their peak. Now, these hours are called your biological prime time, the perfect window for deep, meaningful work. Everyone has this optimal time, and it varies by person. Studies even show that scheduling work during your biological prime time increases productivity by 20 to 30%. And for Dave, this could mean spending an hour and a half on art at 4 a.m. on weekday without even sacrificing his sleep, because he has now cut his TV time to 1 hour and he goes to bed at 9 p.m. Now, you also want to invest it on the weekends. And I know weekends often feel like this big chunk of free time where we can finally relax and escape the 9-to-5 grind. And yes, it is free time, but it's also a treasure trove of gold waiting to be harnessed. And to truly harness it, you need to start treating your weekends as your personal 9-to-5, where you finally have some time to dedicate to your own personal goals and aspirations, and not those of the company you work for. Just like you show up for your employer, you respect your time and you show up for yourself. This means using your weekends to work on personal goals, spend intentional time with family, and so on. The key is to spend time intentionally so you don't end up squandering it without knowing. I started respecting my weekends, showing up early and dedicating those golden hours to my goals, just like I would for my job, and it's changed everything. Now, I know on some weekends, you just want to lazy around, and that's totally okay. I mean, life is not an Olympic event, and nobody is handing out gold medals for most productive Saturday. And sometimes the best plan is no plan. Just don't make it every weekend. So, now that you're able to invest some of your gold during the week and some on the weekend, it's time to move on to the final hack. Track your gold. Now, a quote by Peter Drucker says, "What gets measured gets managed." And in the context of time management, it simply emphasizes the importance of tracking and monitoring your time consistently to gain insight into how it's being used, so you can make informed adjustments to manage it more effectively. In other words, what gets tracked gets better. So, how do you track the progress you've made and value you're deriving from these time investments you're making? Are you investing it right? Is it yielding value? To track it at the end of each week, ask yourself, where did I spend my time? What value did I derive? What worked? What didn't? And if that time was to be spent on a particular goal, for example, ask yourself, did I achieve my set goal for the week? Why didn't I achieve it? How can I make next week better? Now, time management is not static, so you need to tweak your system as your life evolves. Think of it as an investment portfolio that you have to check in to make sure your time is working for you. And also remember, success is the sum of small efforts repeated daily. So, let's recap. We have 4 hacks to manage your time with a full-time job. Hack 1, find your gold. Hack 2, dig for gold. Hack 3, invest your gold. And hack 4, track your gold. Now, to give you a clearer direction on what to do next, right after this video, download the free template in the description to help you find your own personal time goal so you can finally spend time on the things you love. And if you need help identifying what goals to invest your gold in, or feel overwhelmed by having too many goals and you're unsure on how to fit them into your daily routine, don't worry. Check out this video I created where I break down exactly how to list your goals, rank them effectively, and turn them into actionable daily tasks. And on that note, I leave you with this final quote from Michael Altshuler. It goes, "The bad news is time flies. The good news is you are the pilot." So tell me, what's your number 1 time wasting habit? Comment below. I'd love to hear how you plan to take control of your time.